What if your kid's ignoring you is a mirror reflecting your own hidden struggles? It's a gut punch when your children brush you off or show disrespect, leaving you feeling invisible in your own home. But what if those moments aren't just a parenting challenge? They're an invitation to grow, both for you and them. Inspired by Carl Jung's profound wisdom, this video reveals 5 transformative steps to stay calm, set boundaries, and build a deeper, more respectful connection with your kids. Using real-life stories and practical insights, we'll show you how to turn frustration into opportunity and guide your children toward their true selves. Ready to transform your relationship with your kids? Let's dive into this journey together. Have you ever felt a sting in your heart when your kids brush you off or roll their eyes at you? It's not just a parenting moment. It's a deep, personal wound that cuts to the core of who you are. When your children ignore you or show disrespect, it can feel like a rejection of your love, your effort, and even your worth. But here's where Carl Jung's wisdom flips the script. Those painful moments aren't just about your kids' behavior. They're a mirror reflecting your own hidden wounds. In this chapter, we're diving into how these moments awaken the shadow within you, the unhealed parts of your psyche, and how understanding them can start a transformative journey for both you and your children. Let's explore this together. Carl Jung, the legendary psychologist, taught us that our deepest emotional triggers often point to the shadow, the parts of ourselves we've buried, like fears of not being enough or memories of rejection. As a parent, when your kids ignore you, it's not just their eye-rolling or silence that hurts. It's what their behavior stirs up inside you, maybe a fear that you're failing as a parent, or a lingering wound from your own childhood when you felt unseen. Carl Jung's concept of individuation, the journey to become your true self, starts with recognizing these wounds. Instead of reacting with anger or hurt, you can use these moments to look inward and grow, setting the stage for a healthier relationship with your kids. Let's bring this to life with a story. Meet Anna, a 42-year-old single mom from Chicago, raising her 15-year-old son, Ethan. Anna poured her heart into being a good mom, cooking Ethan's favorite meals, driving him to soccer practice, and always being there to listen. But lately, Ethan started ignoring her. He'd respond to her questions with one-word answers, scroll through his phone during dinner, or walk away mid-conversation. Each time, Anna felt a wave of hurt, followed by anger. Why doesn't he appreciate me, she'd think. But one evening, when Ethan slammed his bedroom door after she asked about his day, Anna paused it. Instead of banging on the door or yelling, she sat down and asked herself, why does this hurt so much? That question led her to a painful realization. Ethan's behavior reminded her of how her own parents dismissed her feelings as a child, leaving her feeling invisible. If you're a parent, you might see yourself in Anna's story. Maybe your teenager shuts you out, or your younger child ignores your requests. Those moments hit hard because they tap into your shadow, the unhealed parts of you that carry old fears or insecurities. Carl Jung believed that the parent archetype isn't just about guiding your kids, it's about confronting your own inner struggles to become a wiser, more authentic version of yourself. When your kids ignore you, they're not just testing your patience, they're holding up a mirror to your psyche. The hurt you feel isn't just about them. It's a signal to look at the wounds you've carried, maybe for decades. What are these hidden wounds for some? It's the fear of not being a good enough parent, rooted in societal pressure or past criticism. For others, it's a deeper wound, like Anna's, tied to childhood experiences of being ignored or undervalued. Carl Jung's idea of the shadow tells us that these feelings aren't weaknesses, they're opportunities. By acknowledging them, you start the process of individuation, where you integrate these buried parts of yourself to become whole. This doesn't mean blaming yourself or your kids. It means seeing their behavior as a chance to heal and grow. When Anna realized her hurt was tied to her childhood, she stopped taking Ethan's actions so personally. Instead of reacting with anger, she began to approach him with curiosity, which opened the door to better communication. Here's a practical step to start this journey the next time your child ignores you. Pause and notice what emotions come up. Do you feel hurt, angry, or unworthy? Write them down in a journal or note on your phone. Then ask, where have I felt this before? Maybe it reminds you of a time you felt dismissed by a parent, partner, or friend. This simple act of reflection is like shining a light on your shadow. It helps you see the wound without judgment. If writing feels overwhelming, try a quick grounding exercise. Take 5 deep breaths, focusing on the air, moving through your body, to calm your mind before responding to your child. For Anna, this reflection was a game changer. By recognizing that her hurt came from her own childhood wounds, she stopped seeing Ethan's behavior as a personal attack. Instead, she saw it as a signal that both she and Ethan were navigating their own struggles. This shift allowed her to stay calm and approach conversations with empathy rather than frustration. Carl Jung would say this is the start of individuation, not just for Anna, but for Ethan, too. As parent, your growth sets an example for your kids, showing them how to face their own emotions with courage. This isn't about fixing your kids, it's about healing yourself so you can guide them better. When you confront your hidden wounds, you stop reacting from a place of pain and start responding from a place of strength. You become the parent archetype. Carl Jung described a wise guide who models self-awareness and resilience. And here's the beautiful part: as you heal, you create space for your kids to grow. 2. Let's make this personal. In the comments below, share a moment when your kids ignored or disrespected you. What emotions came up for you? Did it remind you of something from your past? Your story might help another parent feel less alone. Stay with us, because in the next chapter, we'll explore how to stay calm through the storm of your kids' behavior, using Carl Jung's wisdom to keep your cool when your kids ignore you or snap back. Do you feel the urge to yell or lose your cool? It's natural to feel a surge of frustration when your children brush you off or disrespect you. It's like a storm brewing inside. But here's where Carl Jung's wisdom shines. Staying calm in these moments isn't just about keeping the peace. It's about tapping into your self-awareness to respond with strength and clarity. By mastering your emotions, you not only avoid escalating conflicts, but also model a powerful way of being for your kids. In this chapter, we'll explore how to stay calm through the storm of your children's behavior, using Carl Jung's insights to transform tense moments into opportunities for growth. Let's dive in. Carl Jung believed that self-awareness is the cornerstone of personal growth. When your kids ignore you, whether it's a teenager slamming the door or a younger child tuning you out, it's easy to react from a place of hurt or anger. But Carl Jung's teachings remind us that reacting impulsively often fuels the storm, making things worse. Instead, staying calm allows you to step into the parent archetype, a wise, grounded figure who responds from a place of inner strength rather than emotional chaos. This doesn't mean suppressing your feelings. It means managing them consciously so you can guide your kids with clarity and love. Let's revisit Anna, the single mom from Chicago we met in Chapter 1. Her 15-year-old son, Ethan, had a habit of ignoring her, answering her questions with grunts or scrolling through his phone during conversations. Each time, Anna felt a wave of anger rising, tempting her to yell, "Why can't you just listen?" But after reflecting on her hidden wounds, Anna decided to try a different approach. One evening, when Ethan ignored her question about his homework, she felt the familiar frustration bubbling up. Instead of reacting, she took a deep breath, closed her eyes for a moment and asked herself, "What am I feeling right now?" She noticed her anger was mixed with sadness, a longing to connect with her son. That pause gave her the clarity to say calmly, "Ethan, I'd love to hear about your day when you're ready." To her surprise, Ethan looked up from his phone and mumbled, "Okay, maybe later." It wasn't a huge win, but it was a start. If you're a parent, you've likely been in Anna's shoes. Maybe your child walks away mid-conversation, or their eye roll feels like a personal jab. Those moments test your patience. But Carl Jung's concept of self-awareness offers a way through. By pausing to check in with yourself, you create a space between your emotions and your actions. This space is where transformation happens. It's where you choose to respond rather than react. Staying calm doesn't mean you're ignoring the problem. It's a powerful act of self-control that shows your kids what emotional resilience looks like. So, what does staying calm look like in practice? It's about grounding yourself in the moment. When you feel triggered by your child's behavior, your body often gives you clues. Your heart races, your shoulders tense, or your jaw clenches. Carl Jung would say, these are signals from your psyche, urging you to slow down. By focusing on your breath or taking a moment to step back, you give yourself the chance to respond from a place of clarity rather than chaos. This calm becomes a mirror for your kids, showing them that even in tense moments, it's possible to stay grounded. Here's a practical step to practice the pause and breathe technique. The next time your child ignores you or snaps, take 5 seconds to pause and breathe deeply. Inhale through your nose for 4 counts. Hold for 4. And exhale for 4. As you breathe, silently ask, "What am I feeling right now?" This simple act helps you name your emotions, anger, hurt, or frustration, without letting them take over. For example, Anna used this technique during a tense dinner when Ethan ignored her attempts to talk. Instead of snapping, she paused, breathed, and said, "I notice you're on your phone a lot tonight. Can we talk about what's going on?" Her calm tone opened the door to a real conversation, even if it was brief. Carl Jung's wisdom teaches us that staying calm is more than a parenting tactic. It's a step toward individuation. By choosing not to react impulsively, you're not just managing the moment, you're growing into a more authentic version of yourself. You're showing your kids that emotions don't have to control you. And that lesson is one they'll carry into their own lives. For Anna, staying calm helped her see Ethan's behavior as a phase, not a rejection of her worth. It also gave her confidence to keep trying. Knowing that her calm presence was planting seeds for change, this isn't about being perfect. It's about being present. You won't always stay calm. And that's okay. What matters is that you keep practicing, showing your kids that growth is a journey. When you model this kind of self-awareness, you're not just resolving a conflict, you're teaching your children how to navigate their own emotions with grace. Let's make this personal. In the comments below, share one way you try to stay calm. When your kids push your buttons, maybe it's taking a deep breath, stepping away for a moment, or even listening to music to reset. Or tell us about a time you lost your cool. What did you learn from it? Your story could inspire another parent to find their calm in the storm. Stay with us, because in the next chapter, we'll explore how to understand your child's shadow, the hidden reasons behind their behavior, and how to connect with them on a deeper level. What if your child's disrespect or silence isn't just defiance, but a cry from a part of them they can't yet express? When your kids ignore you or lash out, it's easy to take it personally, to see it as a rejection of your love or authority. But Carl Jung's wisdom offers a deeper perspective. Their behavior often stems from their shadow, the hidden emotions, fears, or insecurities. They don't know how to articulate. As a parent, your role isn't just to correct their actions, but to understand the unseen struggles driving them. In this chapter, we'll explore how to tap into Carl Jung's concept of empathy to see your child's shadow, connect with them on a deeper level, and guide them towards self-awareness without excusing their behavior. Let's dive into this transformative approach. Carl Jung taught that the shadow is the part of our psyche we push away emotions like anger, fear, or shame that we don't want to face. For children, especially teenagers, the shadow can manifest as defiance, silence, or disrespect. When they're grappling with feelings they can't name, maybe your teen is ignoring you because they're overwhelmed by school pressure, or your younger child acts out because they feel powerless in a changing world. These behaviors aren't always about you. They're often a reflection of their inner turmoil. Carl Jung's idea of empathy doesn't mean letting disrespect slide. It means seeing the world through your child's eyes to understand what's driving their actions. This understanding builds a bridge to communication, fostering respect without compromising your boundaries. Let's return to Anna, the single mom from Chicago we've been following. Her 15-year-old son, Ethan, had been shutting her out, giving one-word answers, scrolling through his phone, or walking away mid-conversation. At first, Anna saw this as disrespect, a sign she was failing as a mom. But after learning to stay calm, she began to wonder what was behind Ethan's behavior. One evening, instead of confronting him about ignoring her question about his day, she tried a different approach. Sitting across from him at dinner, she said gently, "Ethan, I've noticed you've been pretty quiet lately. Is something going on at school or with your friends?" Her tone wasn't accusing, it was curious, open. To her surprise, Ethan hesitated, then admitted he'd been stressed about a big math test and felt like he was falling behind. That small moment of vulnerability opened a door to a real conversation, the first in weeks. If you're a parent, you've likely faced moments like this. Maybe your child snaps at you when you ask about their homework, or they retreat to their room instead of talking. It's tempting to demand respect or push for answers. But Carl Jung's wisdom suggests a different path. By approaching your child with empathy, you create a safe space for them to share their shadow, the fears, pressures, or insecurities they're hiding. This doesn't mean excusing bad behavior. It means recognizing that their actions are often a clumsy attempt to express something deeper. When you understand their shadow, you can guide them toward expressing their feelings in healthier ways, which strengthens your relationship and teaches them self-awareness. What does this look like in practice? It starts with curiosity, not judgment. Instead of reacting to your child's disrespect with frustration, pause and ask yourself, what might be going on for them right now? Are they stressed about school, feeling left out by friends, struggling with changes at home? Carl Jung believed that the psyche speaks through behavior, especially in children who haven't yet learned to articulate complex emotions. By observing their actions as clues to their inner world, you shift from seeing them as defiant to seeing them as human beings navigating their own struggles. This perspective doesn't weaken your authority, it strengthens it, because it shows your kids you're a safe person to turn to. Here's a practical step to try: ask open-ended questions that invite your child to share without feeling judged. For example, instead of saying, "Why are you always on your phone?" try, "I've noticed you've been on your phone a lot lately. What's been going on?" Keep your tone calm and curious, like you're inviting them into a conversation, not interrogating them. If they don't open up right away, that's okay. Plant the seed and give them time. Anna used this approach with Ethan during another tense moment. When he ignored her request to clean his room, she said, "It seems like you're not in the mood to talk about chores. Is something else on your mind?" Ethan didn't respond immediately, But later that evening, he mentioned feeling overwhelmed by his soccer schedule. That small opening helped Anna understand his stress and adjust their conversation. Carl Jung's concept of individuation applies not just to you but to your children. 2. Their shadow behaviors, ignoring you, snapping, or pulling away, are part of their journey to understand themselves. As a parent, your empathy helps them feel seen, which reduces their need to act out. This doesn't mean you tolerate disrespect. You can still set boundaries, which we'll cover in the next chapter. But you do so from a place of understanding. For Anna, this approach changed her dynamic with Ethan. By asking about his world instead of demanding respect, she learned he was struggling with peer pressure and academic stress. This insight allowed her to support him without taking his behavior personally, which slowly rebuilt their connection. Empathy also has a ripple effect. When you model this kind of understanding, you teach your kids how to be empathetic with themselves and others. Carl Jung believed that the parent-child relationship is a sacred space for mutual growth, a place where both of you learn to integrate your shadows. By showing Ethan she was willing to listen without judgment, Anna not only helped him open up, but also showed him that emotions like stress or fear are okay to feel. Over time, Ethan started sharing more, and their conversations became less strained. This is the power of empathy. It transforms conflict into connection, helping both you and your child grow. Here's another practical tip. Observe your child's patterns. Over the next week, notice when they're most likely to ignore or disrespect you. Is it after school? When they're tired? During family arguments? Write down what you observe and look for clues about what might be triggering their behavior. This isn't about spying, it's about understanding their world. If you're unsure where to start, try reflecting on a recent moment of disrespect and ask, what might they have been feeling? This exercise helps you see their shadow without jumping to conclusions. Let's make this personal. In the comments below, share one thing you think might be behind your child's behavior. Maybe stress, fear, or something else. Or tell us about a time you tried to understand their perspective. What happened? Your story could inspire another parent to approach their child with empathy. Stay with us, because in the next chapter, we'll explore how to set boundaries with love, using Carl Jung's balance of persona and self to create structure and respect in your home. What if the key to earning your child's respect isn't control, but a balance of firmness and love? When your kids ignore you or push back with disrespect, it's tempting to tighten the reins or let things slide to avoid conflict. But Carl Jung's wisdom offers a powerful alternative: setting boundaries with love, rooted in the balance between your persona, the role you play as a parent, and yourself, the authentic core of who you are. These boundaries don't just create structure, they teach your children responsibility, safety, and respect, while deepening your connection. In this chapter, we'll explore how to set clear, loving boundaries that transform your relationship with your kids. Using Carl Jung's insights to guide you, let's dive in. Carl Jung's concept of the persona is the mask we wear to navigate the world. In your case, the role of parent with its expectations of authority and care, but beneath that role lies yourself, the authentic you who feels hurt, frustrated, or uncertain when your kids ignore you. Setting boundaries with love means blending these two, using the strength of your parental role to create structure while staying true to your compassionate core. This balance is key to individuation, Carl Jung's process of becoming your true self, because it allows you to guide your kids without losing yourself in the process. Boundaries aren't about punishment. They're about showing your kids where your needs and their responsibilities meet, creating a framework where respect can grow. Let's return to Anna, the single mom from Chicago, and her 15-year-old son, Ethan, After understanding Ethan's stress-driven behavior through empathy, Anna realized that ignoring her wasn't just defiance, it was his way of coping with overwhelm. But she also knew she couldn't let his behavior slide. Respect had to be mutual. One evening, when Ethan left dishes in the sink after she'd asked him to clean up, Anna felt the familiar frustration rising. Instead of yelling or ignoring it, she drew on her persona as a parent and herself as a compassionate person. She sat Ethan down and said calmly, "Ethan, I need us to have a clean kitchen because it helps me feel less stressed. When you leave dishes out, it makes things harder for both of us. From now on, if the dishes aren't cleaned by dinner, you won't use your phone that evening." Her tone was firm but kind, and she explained the boundary as a shared need, not a power play. To her surprise, Ethan nodded and started washing the dishes the next day. If you're a parent, you've likely faced moments where your kids test your limits. Maybe they ignore your requests to tidy up or talk back when you set rules. These moments can feel like a battle. But Carl Jung's wisdom shows that boundaries set with love are not about winning, they're about teaching. By clearly defining what's acceptable and what happens when those lines are crossed, you give your kids a sense of security and structure. Carl Jung believed that the parent archetype is a guide, not a dictator. When you set boundaries from a place of love, you're not just enforcing rules, you're modeling how to honor your own needs while respecting others. A lesson your kids will carry into adulthood. What does setting boundaries with love look like in practice? It's about clarity, consistency, and compassion. Start by identifying one or two specific behaviors that need boundaries, like ignoring requests or using disrespectful language. Then, communicate the boundary calmly, explaining why it matters to you and what the consequence will be. For example, instead of saying, "Stop being rude," you might say, "When you speak to me that way, it hurts my feelings. Let's use kind words. Or we'll take a break from this conversation." The key is to avoid threats or anger. Instead, frame the boundary as a way to protect your shared space. Consistency is crucial. Follow through on consequences without wavering, but do so with empathy, not punishment. Here's a practical step to try: write down 2 to 3 boundaries that matter most in your home. Maybe it's no phones during family meals or homework must be done before screen time. For each, write a clear explanation of why it's important. E.g. G. Family meals are our time to connect. And a consequence. E.g. If phones are out, they'll be put away until tomorrow. Share these with your child in a calm moment, not during conflict, and invite their input to make them feel heard. For Anna, this meant sitting with Ethan to discuss the no phones at dinner rule. She explained, "I want us to talk and enjoy our time together." Ethan grumbled but agreed, and over time, their dinners became a space for connection. Carl Jung's idea of individuation reminds us that boundaries are not just for your kids, they're for you. 2. By setting them, you're honoring yourself, refusing to let your needs be erased by your role as a parent. This act of self-respect models for your kids how to value their own boundaries, preparing them for healthy relationships outside the family. For Anna, setting the dishwashing boundary wasn't just about a clean kitchen, it was about teaching Ethan responsibility while showing him that her needs mattered. When he followed through, Anna praised his effort, reinforcing the behavior with love. This balance of firmness and care strengthened their bond, proving that boundaries can be a bridge, not a wall. Boundaries also have a deeper impact. Carl Jung believed that the parent-child relationship is a sacred space where both parties grow. When you set boundaries with love, you're not just teaching your kids respect, you're helping them integrate their own shadow by showing them that actions have consequences. This process mirrors your own individuation. As you learn to balance your parental duties with your authentic self, over time, Anna noticed Ethan became more accountable, not just at home, but in his schoolwork, because her boundaries gave him a clear framework to navigate. One more practical tip: practice your boundary setting language in advance. If you're nervous about sounding too harsh or weak, rehearse what you'll say in front of a mirror. For example, practice, "I need us to keep this space respectful. So let's try that again with kinder words." This helps you feel confident and keeps your tone loving but firm. If emotions run high, take a moment to breathe before responding, ensuring your persona and self stay aligned. Let's make this personal. In the comments below, share one boundary you want to set with your kids. Maybe it's about screen time, chores, or respectful language. What makes it hard to enforce? And how do you plan to approach it with love? Your story could inspire another parent to find their balance. Stay with us, because in the next chapter, we'll explore how to build a soulful connection with your kids, using Carl Jung's wisdom to create lasting trust and respect. What if the secret to your child's respect isn't in rules or discipline, but in the moments you share that make them feel truly seen? As a parent, you've navigated the pain of being ignored, learned to stay calm, understood your child's hidden struggles, and set boundaries with love. Now, it's time to take the next step, building a soulful connection that fosters mutual respect and trust. Carl Jung's wisdom teaches us that authentic relationships are the heart of growth for both you and your kids. In this chapter, we'll explore how to create meaningful moments with your children, using Carl Jung's idea of authentic connection to deepen your bond and inspire lasting respect. Let's dive into this final, transformative step. Carl Jung believed that true connection happens when we meet others with ourself, the authentic core of who we are, rather than through roles or expectations. For parents, this means moving beyond the parent archetype, the rule setter or provider, and showing up as a human being who listens, shares, and grows alongside their child. When your kids ignore or disrespect you, it's often a sign they feel disconnected, unseen in their own world. By creating moments of genuine connection, you build a foundation of trust that makes respect grow naturally. This isn't about grand gestures, it's about small, intentional moments that show your kids they matter, not just as your children, but as individuals with their own dreams and struggles. Let's return to Anna, the single mom from Chicago, and her 15-year-old son, Ethan. After setting boundaries with love, Anna noticed Ethan was more open, but their relationship still felt strained. He'd follow her rules like no phones at dinner, but their conversations were short, and she longed for a deeper bond. Inspired by Carl Jung's idea of authentic connection, Anna decided to try something new. She remembered Ethan loved playing board games as a kid, so she proposed a weekly game night. Just the two of them. The first night, they played chess, and though Ethan was hesitant, Anna kept it light, asking about his favorite video games between moves. Over time, these evenings became a ritual. Ethan started sharing stories about school, his friends, even his fears about the future. Anna listened without judgment, sharing bits of her own teenage years. These moments didn't just rebuild their bond, they taught Ethan that respect flows from feeling valued, not demanded. If you're a parent, you've probably felt that distance from your kids at times. Maybe your teenager seems glued to their phone, or your younger child brushes off your attempts to talk. Carl Jung's wisdom reminds us that connection is the antidote to disconnection. When you create space for your kids to feel seen, you're not just resolving conflicts, you're helping them integrate their shadow, the parts of themselves they hide, like fear or insecurity. This process mirrors your own individuation. As you grow into a parent who balances guidance with genuine presence, the result, a relationship where respect isn't forced, but flows naturally from trust and understanding. What does building a soulful connection look like in practice? It's about quality over quantity, carving out intentional time to be fully present with your child. These moments don't need to be elaborate. They can be as simple as a walk, a shared meal, or a game. As long as you're engaged and open, the key is to listen more than you speak, letting your child lead the conversation when they're ready. Carl Jung's concept of authentic connection emphasizes meeting your child where they are, not where you want them to be. This means setting aside distractions like phones or to-do lists and showing curiosity about their world, whether it's their favorite music, a hobby, or a challenge they're facing. Here's a practical step to try: schedule 1 hour a week for a shared activity with your child. Just the two of you. It could be playing a game, cooking together, or taking a walk, something they enjoy. Make it a ritual, free from distractions, and focus on listening. For example, Anna's game nights with Ethan became a sacred time where they could talk without pressure. If your child is resistant, start small maybe. Ask them to pick the activity or share something they love. During these moments, ask open-ended questions like, "What's been the best part of your week?" or "What's something you're excited about?" If they're quiet, don't push. Just be present. Over time, these moments build trust, making your child more likely to open up and show respect. Carl Jung's idea of individuation teaches us that connection is a two-way street. As you show up authentically for your kids, you're also honoring your own self, letting go of the need to be the perfect parent. For Anna, game nights weren't just about Ethan. They helped her reconnect with her playful side, which she'd buried under the weight of single parenthood. This mutual growth strengthened their bond, as Ethan saw his mom not just as a rule setter, but as a person with her own stories and dreams. When kids feel this kind of connection, they're less likely to ignore or disrespect you, because they know you see them for who they are. Another practical tip: celebrate your child's individuality during these moments. Notice something unique about them, a talent, a passion, or even a quirky habit, and acknowledge it. For example, Anna praised Ethan's strategic thinking during chess, which made him feel valued beyond his role as her son. This kind of recognition, rooted in Carl Jung's belief in honoring the self, helps your child feel safe to be themselves, reducing the need for defiance or withdrawal. It also reinforces respect, as they see you modeling appreciation and presence. The ripple effect of a soulful connection is profound. Carl Jung believed the parent-child relationship is a sacred space where both of you grow toward wholeness. By creating these moments, you're not just teaching respect, you're helping your child navigate their own individuation, learning to express their emotions and needs authentically. For Anna, game nights led to Ethan sharing more about his life, which reduced his need to shut her out. Their relationship became a space of mutual growth, where respect grew from love, not obligation. Let's make this personal. In the comments below, share one activity you love doing with your kids, or one you'd like to try to build a deeper connection. Maybe it's a hobby you share, or a moment when you felt truly close. Or tell us what's been challenging about connecting with your child. What's holding you back? Your story could inspire another parent to take that first step. Stay with us, because in our outro, we'll wrap up this journey with a powerful call to transform your relationship with your kids through Carl Jung's wisdom. Your kids ignoring you isn't just a challenge, it's a call to transform, for you and for them. Through this journey, we've walked through the pain of feeling unseen, Learn to stay calm in the storm. Understood the hidden struggles behind your child's behavior. Set boundaries with love. And built soulful connections that foster true respect. Inspired by Carl Jung's wisdom, you've seen how your role as a parent isn't just about guiding your kids, it's about growing into your authentic self. Balancing your persona with yourself to create a relationship rooted in trust and mutual understanding. This isn't just parenting, it's a sacred dance of individuation, where you and your children grow together toward wholeness. You have the power to turn moments of frustration into opportunities for connection by staying calm, listening with empathy, setting boundaries, and showing up authentically. You're not just teaching your kids respect, you're modeling what it means to live as your true self. Carl Jung would say this is your greatest gift to your children, a legacy of self-awareness and love that they'll carry into their own lives. So, take a moment today to commit to one small step. Maybe it's pausing to breathe when tensions rise, asking your child an open-ended question, or scheduling a game night to reconnect. These small acts ripple outward, transforming your family into a space of growth and respect. If this journey spoke to your heart, let us know in the comments. What's one step you'll take to deepen your connection with your kids? Hit that like button if this video inspired you, and share it with another parent who needs this message. Don't forget to subscribe to Jung Psyche Hub and tap the bell so you never miss a video that could change the way you parent and grow. Your calm, your empathy, your authenticity, they're the keys to a stronger, more loving relationship with your kids. Let's keep this transformation alive together.